The Christian doctor who's been issued with a warning by a medical watchdog after praying with a patient. Dr. Richard Scott, a GP at Bethesda Medical Centre in... That was always the word that was going to catch me. Medical Centre in Margate was told he overstepped the boundaries by discussing religion with a 19-year-old man suffering poor mental health issues. The tribunal ruled Dr. Scott should have checked the teenager was comfortable with engaging in such a conversation and concluded the actions constituted misconduct. The case has sparked a debate over the place of religion in medical settings. Dr. Scott believes Christians are being increasingly attacked for practicing their faith at work, but is it always appropriate? Dr. Richard Scott joins us now. Welcome, Richard. I mean, you've got the backing of quite a few Christian groups on this. Do you see this as obvious discrimination?
Well, I think so. I've actually had three General Medical Council cases over the years since 2010. Two of them, the one in 2010 and the one last year, were from individual patients complaining. They were consensual discussions. I explained that how the Christian faith could benefit their health in line with much science and thousands of papers, scientific papers proving that faith benefits health. And the third one was simply a radio interview I did with Radio 4 in 2019. National Secular Society didn't like it, so another GMC case. The thing is, both of the patient complaints should have been passed down the line to be dealt with at local practice level. All doctors get complaints, we can deal with it. So why did they take it on, and why have they relentlessly pursued me since 2010? And the only conclusion I can come to is it's discrimination.
Most people, I think, watching this, though, will be concluding, well, you know, why are you doing this at all? Why would you need to bring religion into this? What is the purpose? What is the point?
Well, the point is
You're a GP, you're about medicine, not about religion. You're not a theologist.
Sure, but many years ago, the World Health Organization stated that full well-being involves mental, physical and spiritual well-being, and we are spiritual beings. And many people are increasingly interested in dealing with things from a spiritual angle. My patients in Margate, so many of them have had terrible lives. I started off talking faith with drug addicts, of which there were multiple, then alcoholics, and then people with mental health problems. We've got the science behind us. There are literally thousands of papers showing that faith benefits health. And where doctors are unable to help people otherwise...
I mean, faith, when you say spirituality, faith, isn't that kind of almost like mindfulness? You know, feel good, relax, and think positive stuff. Nobody's going to argue with that. But if you start bringing a specific doctrine, biblical readings and quotations about Jesus, I mean, that's a whole... Is that really the spirit, of this advice, in the sense that you're meant to... You know, spirituality is not the same necessarily as religion.
You're absolutely right. And if I brought up mindfulness, etc., then nobody would have been on my back. But actually, there's no evidence that mindfulness helps at all, whereas there are thousands of papers that Christianity does help. So what I'm doing is evidence-based medicine. And that's why I was so upset.
There's no evidence that Jesus helps, though, is there? I mean, I appreciate you believe that, but...
Oh, there's masses of evidence.
Tangible evidence.
We have masses of scientific papers.
Jesus Christ will assist you in your recovery from a mental health issue.
The science is there, believe you me. There's a book called The Handbook of Religion and Health, which has gone through all the papers over the last 20 years, and there are thousands out there. It's an unknown thing.
So praying to Jesus?
Prayer makes a big difference to people.
But specifically to Jesus?
Absolutely.
So what if I pray to another religion?
Well, I can't help you on that because I don't have the evidence behind it.
But your contention is that via the conduit of Christianity, you can get better.
Well, I've seen it anecdotally myself, and there are all those papers out there. I've seen people get better. I've seen drug addicts stop taking drugs, people being healed from various conditions. I've seen financial miracles. I've seen a whole range of miracles.
So you've actually seen miracles?
I have.
I mean, is this the kind... You know, we sort of have that sort of evangelical, religious kind of, you know, deep South preacher saying, "Stand, you are cured." Yeah. That kind of... You've seen that stuff?
I've seen miracles and I've heard about...
You haven't really seen that stuff, Richard, have you? Come on.
So what would you like to hear?
I mean, I would imagine you have projected something onto that. But, I mean, you've seen somebody who was crippled or unable to walk get up and walk?
Well, if you're asking me, and this is not in clinic, but on a mission I've done, yes, I've seen a leg lengthened through prayer. Somebody who's actually therefore able to throw away the crutches and walk. I've seen that myself. So,
and no other explanation could be...
No, I've seen it lengthened through prayer, there and then.
A leg lengthened?
A leg lengthened.
What is that? Sorry, I mean, a lot of people thinking, what is a leg lengthening? That sounds like torture to me.
No. Somebody whose leg was short and having to wear a raised heel.
Right.
Asking for prayer, receiving prayer, and their leg was lengthened. They then came to church the next week and threw away the heel into the audience.
What about
But one of my district nurses
that
has
didn't
seen...
hit anybody.
It didn't. One of my
There's another
district nurses
miracle.
has prayed for somebody who then who's blind, and then went to see their ophthalmologist who said, this lady was blind, she now can see, and I've had no part to play in
Can
this.
you see how destabilising that might be for some patients who are coming into your GP surgery? You know, they've got a bit of a rash or something like that, and there they are to have a bit of a natter, and you suddenly say, well, before we do, here's the Lord's Prayer. I mean, a lot of people might think, what the heck is this man doing?
And I don't bring spirituality into those situations. I bring them into specific situations where people have massive existential problems. And so we're talking, drugs, alcohol, abuse, mental health. If you come with a rash, appendicitis, tonsillitis, we're not going to talk God.
How important is it to you, your faith?
Oh, it's very important. Myself, for example, I had cancer of the bowel actually during my first General Medical Council case, and I was very grateful not only for my own prayer but for thousands of people praying for me, because it makes a difference. So when I had a patient last month with cancer of the bowel, I said to him at the end, look, you've got a big problem actually, your cancer's worse than mine, would you like me to pray? Absolutely. One of the things that happened in the pandemic is that more and more people are seeking prayer. They're realising that doctors through the pandemic don't have all the answers. What we need is, if you like, the higher power, and they're seeking God. People find that the spiritual angle of people's lives is underestimated in the West. I've done a lot of work in India, Africa. People appreciate God out there. Here, we're just learning.
I know you've got thick skin, your shoulders are broad, but there will be people, lots of our viewers, just listen to this thinking, this guy's nuts. Well, you're familiar. I know I know it's very easy for people to say that. You're familiar with people hurling insults at religion.
Sure.
But what do you say to people listening to this thing?
Well, I'd say to them...
talking about faith healing and leg lengthening?
That's, if you like, an extraordinary case. But I have come across tumours stopped in their tracks through prayer, other people not having cancer, but it seems to be cancer from all the evidence, again, through prayer. I would just say to people, we all have terrible times in life. And when you have a terrible time yourself, why not seek God and ask him for help?